Is it necessary to renounce the worldly life to gain our salvation? There are many important aspects for you to understand. Why the renunciation is difficult. It is very, very difficult. These few days I have been editing another book, Dhammapada Stories. It's a very big book. There are altogether 427 stories. Each stanza one story. And there are many stories there. Some people during the Buddha's time, after their renunciation, after becoming monks, how they had to give up their religious way of life and again had to return to their worldly life. And after spending for some time, again they have gone back to the monasteries. And spending for few months, again they have renounced the religious life and gone back to worldly life. So one monk has done this for 7 times. Now this is the nature of the mind. It's very difficult for us to fix our mind for one particular object and to decide, to make up our mind to carry on. Because certain disturbances, excitement, temptation influence the mind and change the mental attitude. So this situation remains until we attain the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna. After gaining that, we establish it. Then it will become unshakable. Under any circumstances, never change the mind. So now it is a very big battle. So our understanding is the important thing. By introducing religious way of life as a law, as a religious law, people do accept, but not willingly, wholeheartedly. Whenever they can find out any loopholes, they violate it. This is the uncertainty of religious law. Now you can understand the law introduced by the government. But always people try to find out some sort of loophole to violate it. So religion also, they try to introduce as a law. The Buddha did not agree this. He says, we must accept religion according to our own conviction, understanding. Otherwise, simply obey certain religious principle as a law never developed the mind. Many people pretend or keep quiet without violating due to certain reasons. But whenever chances arise, they violate it because they had no strong conviction. So, first we must understand the meaning of renunciation. we have two ways to renounce: internal and external. First, we renounce our external activities. That means we change our way of life and adopt another way of life, a very simple and humble and peaceful method to avoid disturbances. Just like changing the clothes into this or any other forms of religious garb, either shaving their head or growing their hair. Some people grow purposely beard and the hair. To them it is a religious symbol. Shaving is strictly prohibited in certain religions. They cannot shave even one hair from the body. It is against their religion. In Buddhism and Hinduism, shaving is the indications of renunciation, just to recognize. Not only that, too much of attachment towards the hairstyle and the time that they spend to decorate, to apply so many things, can get rid of so many commitments when once we renounce our hairs also. In Buddhism it is mentioned 16 kinds of advantages when once we sacrifice our hair. Convenience. That means there is nothing for us to concentrate, nothing to worry, nothing to spend about our hairstyle. It's a very big relief and also very clean. No chance to collect dirt. But changing our clothes, shaving hair, and using some religious symbols, we try to introduce that we have renounced, for others to recognize, to understand that these people have renounced. Beside this, there is no special religious value in those symbols. Just to recognize. But real renunciation remains in the mind. How far we have reduced our selfishness. So when we reduce our selfishness, it is renunciation. When we control our jealousy and anger, it is a renunciation. When we reduce accumulations, collecting so many things without allowing others to enjoy their life, it is a renunciation. So all these renunciations take place in the mind. Then reduce so many kinds of worldly pleasures, enjoyment, entertainment, by realizing these things cannot contribute anything for our spiritual development, mental purity, to gain knowledge and wisdom. It is true. But we can entertain our human emotion. That is also important. I think you can remember I have explained. When we control our human emotion by force, there will be a lot of problems, physically and mentally. Human beings have more emotion. Other living beings have a little bit. You know, cats and dogs, animals, birds also sing, dance, and jump here and there. They too enjoy some sort of happiness to satisfy their emotion. They too have emotion. But our emotion is very, very advanced. That is why we are very sensitive. Sensitivity we maintain. Very easily we can shed tears. Very easily we can laugh. Emotion is working there. Only human beings who are free from this mental attitude is the Buddhas and Arahantas. They have no human emotion. They don't laugh like us, but they show their smiling face. They never cry. They cannot cry because no emotion. Because we cannot cry without emotion. They never worry for anything. And we are doing all these things because of our emotion. So why do we need some sort of entertainment to satisfy our emotion? If there is no satisfaction, entertainment, man's mind becomes very, very stubborn, can become violent. I think you have read in the newspaper, I think today also there is another news item. Why in certain colleges, hostels, girls, many girls, suddenly hysteria, some sort of madness? Why only one particular community? 95% belong to one particular community, but not others. Because they were kept under control, under too much pressure. You cannot do this, you cannot eat this, you cannot wear like this. As religious principles, as religious laws, as traditions and culture, control too much and suppress this human emotion, but it is boiling in the subconscious mind. Because of this, certain external disturbances take place, suddenly flare up that hidden human emotion they have been keeping under control without entertaining this. Psychologists analyze this. They may say it is devils or ghost or spirit, but these are their own interpretation. The reason is this. That is emotion. So we should not control this emotion too much. So we can entertain our human emotion very respectable way, reasonable way. That is how we have developed our culture. When you study our ancient culture, Indian culture, Chinese culture, Japanese culture, Thai, Burmese, they have introduced very beautifully, very reasonable way, without arousing vulgar or animal nature of that emotion. The biggest mistake has been done by the Western culture. They have completely polluted our culture by introducing certain vulgar form of cultural practices, immoral, which were regarded as immorals by our forefathers. When you observe certain music, dance, performances, the way how they conduct, create excitement and arouse animal nature, then shame and fear also disappear. They won't be able to control themselves. Now they are realizing the danger of this. Even in the West also, many of those elders have realized the danger of this. But those days, they introduced this without damaging our respect, our dignity, by maintaining shame and fear. Fear means a scare to disturb others. That is called moral fear. So, even after our renunciation, we have introduced certain kind of entertainment to maintain that human emotion. Otherwise, the mind experiences some sort of unrest. Now let us take this hymn singing, chanting, different rhythm, very nice entertainment, but with devotion. So when we practice this with confidence and devotion, we never arouse the vulgar form of emotion in our mind. So our cultural practice, even certain dances, very cultural, very decent way they perform. No one can say it is wrong. It is against religion. They are known as, many of them were known as religious dances, religious songs. That is the way how they have entertained. Again, why did they introduce certain religious festival, ceremonies? What is the difficulty for us to practice our religion without celebrating? Always come and take 8 precepts, come and meditate, and come and worship. That is very, very difficult, very boring. Then we organize certain festival, invite others, our friends and relatives, join with us. Then we get their moral support, their cooperation. Then we get more courage and strength. Then we perform this ceremony jointly, together, respectable way. So ceremonies are important. We say rite and rituals and ceremonies are not important. Yes. But at the beginning, these things are important. But when we develop our understanding, our knowledge, when we gain more wisdom, then we can understand. But these things are not important now. We know very well how we played when we were small children in the school. But today we are not going to play like them. But at that stage, those things are very important. When you observe how people conduct their kindergarten classes in Japan, those children never feel that they are learning anything. Our system is a real torture to those small children. We threaten them, beat them, learn this, read this. That is not the method. Everything through entertainment. But automatically they learn. That is the technique. So now you can understand the satisfaction of the human emotion is very important to maintain healthy mind and healthy body. Lot of mental cases. So many monks, gone cases, lost their mind completely. Too much restriction. If not, they throw away this one and run. Cannot tolerate. I told you what happened even during the Buddha's time. The Buddha also could not control some of those cases. He never used the force. He always advised. Now, renunciation means we start to reduce. First, we reduce our crazy attitude towards anything. We are crazy for so many things. So if you can cut down that craze from your mind, it is a renunciation. That means curtail, reduce. But you can maintain all your necessities. Religion never says it is wrong. You must have good food, nice dress, nice house also no harm, motor car. Today you need so many other gadgets, but these things have become necessities. Not luxuries actually, necessities. So you can use all those things without violating your religious principles. Religion cannot say you cannot use all these things. But later, you will realize all these gadgets are real nuisance. How many times we had to repair, how much we had to spend. So why not I get rid of all these things? Why not I try to lead a natural life? Now in the West, having gone through all these enjoyment through this by using modern gadgets, many of them given up everything. They go to countryside, hill tribes, mountains, and start to cultivate vegetables and fruits and eat natural food, experience fresh air, relax. They say now we enjoy more. When you use all those new gadgets, we never experience happiness. That is a renunciation. How many things they have given. I can remember people have donated motor cars to me twice. I kept them for a few months. Then I experienced a lot of difficulties to maintain, to repair, to pay this and that, and people want to come and borrow. After that they spoil things and use all my petrol and bring back and dump here without even one drop of petrol. Then I start to think it's a real nuisance to me. See how happy I am now. Today I wanted to go and see one patient in the university hospital this afternoon. So I walked up to Brickfield Road and got a taxi, paid $2.50. Come back again, another taxi, $2.50. After paying $2.50, no responsibilities. Mine is free. So why should I invite and again to protect this one? This is also some sort of renunciation. Then you should not think to renounce your worldly lives, you must shave your head. You must use this robe and automatically you become a religious man. No, it is impossible. Again, when you study very carefully, all over the world, not only here, when you associate with them very closely, many of those monks and nuns who try to introduce themselves that they have already renounced, observe unbiasedly how much greed, selfishness they maintain in their mind. How greedy they are. Observe. How much jealousy they have in their mind. Find out. And what sort of cunning and crooked method they adopt to gain something. Find out. Then where is the renunciation? What is the purpose of renunciation? In your case, although you have not shaven your head and changed your clothing into this, if you can maintain a respectable life without bluffing others, without doing things only for your benefit, if you can think of others, why not I contribute something for the benefit of others? Then you go on reducing so many weaknesses. It is a renunciation. Again, you have your own property. Religion cannot say it is wrong. The Buddha encouraged you to have something. He did not say, must give up, don't keep with you, never. But if you think it is burdens or disturbances, then give up. You can maintain all your things, but think of others also. You have craving towards your property, your family, your wife, your husband and children, and you have craving. It is natural. It is not a sin. You don't create any bad karma. Then again, this is a margin for you to develop your renunciation. What is this? Not to crave for others' things. Then you have renounced so many things. The trouble today here, we crave for others' things. Allow them to enjoy with their things, without interference, without harboring jealousy. It is a renunciation. Then others also can live peacefully. After some times, you experience a lot of difficulties, commitments, and insecurity, because you have so many things. If you feel like this, that means time has come for you to reduce. Then go on reducing. Don't throw away everything at once. I told you one incident, don't know whether you can remember. An Australian gentleman who was here used to attend our Friday talks also nearly 1 year. He was drawing a big salary. He has made up his mind to renounce everything and become a monk. Came and discussed with me. He already made up his mind. Either to Thailand or Sri Lanka or Burma. And there he wanted to become a monk. Then he came and told me very frankly, now I am going to renounce. I have so much money in the bank. So what I am going to do with this money? Can you please advise me? A very good chance for me to get everything for me, isn't it? Lucky that man did not go to another monk, because others are not fools like me, They are very intelligent, very clever. I did not tell him, if you are going to renounce, there's no meaning at all by keeping this property, this money with you. Give up. Or you can donate to the temple. Instead, I told him, when you came to this country, You had no idea of renunciation, isn't it? No. You never thought that you want to become a monk. No. So this idea appeared while you are here, isn't it? So what guarantees there that you do not change your mind again? Mind is uncertain. Any time changes can take place. After becoming a monk, now you are dreaming about monk's life because you never had experience. When you join in the order of monk, you may experience a lot of problems, difficulties, you may disgust. Then, at that time, you say, oh, I regret very much. Now I don't know what to do, where to go. You must act wisely. You can renounce, no harm. Keep this money with you, no harm. You can renounce, you can become a monk. When you lead that way of life for some time, for a few months or few years, then you can make use of your mind as one-way traffic. Then you can decide what to do with this. At that time you can donate. So he accepted my advice. He went to Sri Lanka, became a monk, spent only 3 months. After 3 months he came back, again going back to his ordinary lay life, and could manage to get back his job also because the people trust him, because he's an honest man. Occasionally he goes round the world. Occasionally, if he happened to visit Malaysia, he never forget to come and see me. Why? He told me, because of your advice, I'm standing like this, otherwise I'm at lost. As long as I live, I respect you, I come and see you. So every time when he comes, he give a donation. When you were printing that book, What Buddhists Believe, very expensive book, he said, all right, I want to buy 100 copies. Here, the money. So every time when he comes, he take 10 copies and visit here and there and distribute. And he sent 1 copy to his brother who is in Australia. After reading this book, his brother also has become a Buddhist. He came and told me. He is very happy, but still very devout Buddhist, leading a very simple life. Here you can understand the honesty always pave the way. By adapting cunning, selfish method, we can gain many things, but one day we lose everything. So the renunciation, now you can understand the nature of renunciation. So many young people come here, come and tell us, you want to renounce. You say, why do you want to renounce? You have to think very carefully. Here we have a novitiate program, December. Every year you can come and join and experience whether you can carry on this way of life or not. After that you can decide. Because the worldly condition or the situation or way of life today is entirely different. Because during the Buddha's time, their way of life was very, very simple. They wanted only a piece of cloth to wear, a shelter for them to live, and their 2 meals or 3 meals a day, and some medicines when they are sick, That's all. And occasionally they organize some sort of cultural entertainment, music and dance, very respectable. So they could manage to maintain their life without facing so many problems, without creating excitement. Today in the modern society, everywhere excitement, temptation. Everywhere when you go out, temptation, excitement. But those days, there's no such thing as cinema halls, no televisions. But these things they can utilize for good purpose. But those unscrupulous people who organize these things introduce so many immoral things to influence the minds of young boys and girls. After that they completely lost their dignity, their character, their way of life, and they try to justify nothing wrong. Elderly people cannot tolerate. So that is called generation gap. Always fight at home, parents and children, because of this. Because temptation disturbs their mind. Again, I told you just now, we should not control too much their emotion, especially girls, because they are very sensitive. So the parents know how to handle them and allow them to have some sort of emotional satisfaction in respectable way, without allowing them to go astray, without allowing others to make use of them, abuse them. This is another problem. Then, after this renunciation, having gone through all your trials and errors and mistakes and having seen the world, experiencing any kind of pleasure, then you start to think, in the end, what did I gain? And what about my future? Future does not mean the remaining few years. Fate, our destiny. We have not done anything. We have not prepared anything. Because this is not the end of our life. So why should I become slaves to all these things forever? In Indian society, they have organized this very systematically. I think you have heard. Let me repeat. It is recorded in their holy book. In Sanskrit, it says, Saisavebhyasta vidyanam yauvane visayesina Vardhake munivrittinam yogenante tanutyaja. 4 stages. From our birth up to the graveyard. Our lifespan is into 4 periods, very systematically. Saisavebhyasta vidyanam, when we are young, our duty is to concentrate on our studies. We should not interfere with politics or any other worldly subject or sensual pleasure or romantic way of life. That is not the age. We completely spoil our study. when you completed your studies, right? Now the second period. Yauvane Vishayeshina. Now you are teenagers now. This is the time for you to experience worldly life, to please your senses. Those who want to get married, that is the time. And want to enjoy worldly life in various ways, but respectable way. Enjoy your life. Gain worldly pleasures. But it is not a religious law. This is the way how they have introduced their way of life to carry on smoothly. After experiencing your worldly life, then you have reached the middle age. Then you feel a lot of disturbances, physically and mentally. Because this machinery system here in our physical body is degenerating. Brain cells and muscles and sinews and cells and all those things also started to degenerate, decay. At that time, you should not try to experience that worldly pleasure by force, by applying all sort of gadgets here and there. Follow the nature. It is natural. And look at the plant life. You can see when this plant is very young, grow. When you supply enough fertilizer and soil and water, it grows very nicely. After that you can see blooming flowers and the fruits. Then go on producing flowers and fruits and fruit and fruits, and after a few years' time you can see dry branches and difficult to produce flowers and the fruits also, occasionally one or two. Then dry and collapse. It is natural. And this is also exactly like that tree, physically. Only difference is that tree has no mind, but we have a mind. Others may come and tell you, you are suffering today from all sorts of sicknesses, old age and death and troubles and this and that because of your original sin. Otherwise, God created you to be immortal, permanent, everlasting, not to suffer, no old age, no sicknesses, remain forever. Since you have done a mistake, now you have to suffer from old age, from sicknesses, from death. So what about that plant also, due to original sin? Use your common sense. These things are natural. Then, this is the time for you to think very seriously, because you have more maturity in your mind through your experience. Because you have seen the world. You know the loopholes, weaknesses, advantages, everything you can understand. But you experience more bitter taste. Then try to make use of the maturity of your mind. Concentrate more on deep aspect of your life. Because animals also experience the same thing that you experience when you are young. No difference. They also experience. They also eat and dance and sing and experience sex and relax, everything. You also have done the same thing when you were young. So you should not satisfy with your life thinking, oh, I have seen the world, that is enough. Then what is the difference between animals and humans? Now we have to cultivate. That is why you are here today. Whether you are young or old, you need some spiritual food or food for thoughts to understand things, because many of us maintain our own imaginations, that's all. We have very poor mentality, ideas. To understand things properly, especially about our life, our body, and the world outside. Then you know how to adjust yourself to carry on the rest of your life without facing so many problems and worries and disturbances and commitments. When you are very young, very difficult for you to adjust like this, because your experience are not matured enough. Minds are very raw. You want to go further and further and further to see the world until you get fed up. Then, when you concentrate more on religion, philosophy, and deep aspects of life, then you can forget so many things that you maintain as your worries. You worry about your family, your children, your husband and wife and property and this and that. You can reduce all these worries when you concentrate more on deep aspect of religion, philosophy, psychology. You know those philosophers, artists, scientists, psychologists had no time even to shave their beard. That's why many of them grow their beard. No time to think. All the while they are thinking to discover something, some new method, new system, experiment. So, third period we have to spend, that is the most important period in our human life. Because still we are active, although not energetic. Still our minds are sound, can understand, can think. Try to make use of the maturity of that life, the mind, then divert our life through proper channels. Never create disappointments, unhappiness, frustration in your mind. When you change from time to time like this, very practical. Then come to the last period, fourth one. Yoge nante tanutyajana. Then, after that, complete detachment. Don't develop your attachment towards anything. You have done all your duties. You have experienced everything. you gain knowledge, have a free mind. You can hand over all your responsibilities, properties and everything to your respective children and wife or husbands or relatives or friends, or give in charity, whatever you like. Nothing for you to worry. Not necessary for you to run here and there to look after your business and income and expenditure, and you won't, even at that age also, you want to count money also, cannot hold the notes also, drop here and there, you want to count, shivering like this. Craving, still maintain that craving. Why can't you hand over all these things to others? Have a free mind. Then the time for you to concentrate, meditate, and to maintain free mind before you close your eyes. There is no doubt that that life never become a miserable one. There's a guarantee there. The way how you have adjusted your way of life. The complete renunciation you have done in the end. But earlier, a step by step, you have done this renunciation. Then after your death, since you had the chance to die peacefully, without maintaining worries and responsibilities in your mind, or any guilty feeling in your mind, that next life never become miserable. Better than this one. And this is the way how we have to cultivate life after life. Then this will become experience, habits in the next life also. The Buddha did not recommend exactly in the same way, but Buddhism cannot talk anything against this. We cannot say it is wrong. Very good. The Buddha's advice is this. At any time, whenever you feel, you realize that time has come for you to renounce, that is the time for you to renounce. Of course, that also must come according to their own experience and habits that they have done during their previous birth. Do you know there are so many stories? Sometimes you may not believe. Small children, 7 years old, boys, have become novice monk, renounce, voluntarily. And they have attained arahanta at the age of 7. You can ask, how come? How can a 7-year-old boy can become an arahant? Because you cannot understand the reason. Because this person, although he is very young, the maturity in his subconscious mind is very, very rich. That he has developed life after life during so many previous births. So the age is immaterial for this person. And many others, after listening to 1 or 2 words as dharma from the Buddha, on the spot, immediately attain sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami, arahant. Then you can ask, from our childhood we have been listening to Dhamma, we won't gain anything. But your way of life is entirely different. This is called previous experience. So when you practice like this, you also can continue life after life. Then your mind also become very rich and more virtuous, and easily you can understand the Dharma or the truth. You know, majority in this world cannot understand what we talk. They say we are talking rubbish. Never appeal to their mind. But why do you come here every Friday? In spite of heavy rain also, spending your money, sacrificing so many entertainment, television program, even uncertainty in your family also, insecurity. But you take the trouble to come here. That means there is something you can understand. Otherwise you never come here, the second time or third time. This you can develop further and further, then life after life. That is why many of those young boys and girls during the Buddha's time attained sainthood. A young girl, very young girl, visited the Buddha when he was preaching. Then the Buddha asked, "Where are you coming from?" He said, "I do not know." "Then where are you going?" "I do not know." Then series of questions. He gave the answer very funny way. Then all the others started to criticize. Look at this blooming girl, the way how she answered the Buddha's question. Then the Buddha says, "Don't condemn this girl. You cannot understand the answer given by her, real meaning of the answer. When I asked, 'Where are you coming from?' she said, 'I do not know.' She was referring to her previous birth. When I asked, 'Where are you going?' I say, 'I do not know,' because she does not know where she goes after her death. She was concentrating in this way. This is experience. There are so many stories like this. Everything depends on our experience. Then I can give you very practical advice. How our minds work continuously when we concentrate on one particular item. When I was working for that book, What Buddhists Believe, for nearly 6 months, almost every day, reading and finding spelling mistake, grammatical mistake and ideas, the Dhamma and this and that, I spent more than 6 months. Every time when we go to bed, either daytime or night time, whole night going on proofreading in dreams. In my dreams, every day proofreading, nothing but proofreading. See, when we occupy our mind for one particular object, concentrate deeply, the subconscious mind projects the same thing that I have accumulated there. That is the way how our good karma and bad karma work. So if you concentrate more on dharma or religious life, or stealing or bluffing or swindling or destroying, disturbing others, all these things projects, reflect. So when one of these particular thoughts appear at the last moment before our death, at the last thoughts, rebirth take place according to that particular thought. Please remember this. All the other good and bad karmas that we have done remain behind. So whatever appear at the last moment, lead. There are many stories, those who have done a lot of merits, good deeds. But the dying moment, one of the bad thoughts appear, then rebirth has taken place in an unfortunate state. But only for a short period. Because that mistake was a very minor one. But that mistake done by that person disturbed the mind for a longer period. That disturbances influence the mind to project. So the Buddhism does not encourage people to repent by committing evil. Others say you must repent for the bad deed that you have done. You can reduce. The Buddhism says no. You aggravate the situation. Repenting is not the solution. Don't think of that. By realizing that it is bad, you have done something wrong, your duty is to do more and more good deeds without repenting it. Then you can overcome this. This is the Buddhist method. So, renunciation also we have to done according to our experience and understanding. Don't take any hasty conclusion, through your emotional feeling. I want to give up everything. I want to become a monk. I want to renounce the world. I have seen so many people who have renounced like this, again come back and lost everything. You had to make up your mind with understanding and conviction. Otherwise you get into trouble. This is the nature of renunciation. But still I did not answer the question why renunciation is necessary to find out our salvation. Answer is very simple. When there are responsibilities, commitments and worries and so many things in our mind, it is very difficult for us to find out our salvation. No freedom in the mind. When we could manage to get rid of all these things, voluntarily, not by force, voluntarily, mind is free, no mental disturbances, then easy to find out salvation. That is the answer. I think enough. Next Friday, related to this question, Buddhism encourages us to reduce craving. How can we live without craving? Related to the same question, but there are many things you have to learn. I have given the answer to this question in my booklet, now out of print. Is it wrong to be ambitious? In that booklet, no more. I think we have to repeat that. It's next Friday.